Little birdie, come and sing to me your song. Such a short time to be here, such a long time to be gone. Wish I was some dark hollow where the sun don't ever shine, for you to be in this big city, in a small room with you on my mind. Little birdie, what makes you fly so high? When you know that my true love is way up in the sky. It was kind of a mesh-up of several versions of Little Birdie that I've heard over the years. You know, I think about Morgan Sexton when I think about that tune. I think about Roscoe Holcomb when I think about that tune. I think about Ralph Stanley when I think about that. And all of those players from back home had slightly different takes, some of them drastically different takes on the same song. And that one was mine. So one approach, I'm not a purist in that way to try to learn something the way I hear it on the recording. I often just sit with a song that I hear or a tune, and sometimes I remember it wrong, but it becomes the way that I do it. And I think that that's really a part of the process of learning these songs and making them your own and having your own expression through them, and how over the years the songs have been passed down and have managed to still exist and still survive, and speaks to a vibrant culture to be able to adapt and change with the times. And I'm very interested in how these songs are used in common day, in contemporary times, to address the issues of the day. And in particular, getting a group of people in the room and not necessarily, Kelly and I were talking about this at the break, and not necessarily, when we teach these things, not saying that you have to do it this way because that's the way that the oldest version of it that we have, was played or something like that, but to really think about how people exist in the world today and how we exist with each other. And these are, just interpretations of the times. And so I say that to say that what is important when doing this type of cultural organizing is to first invite your ancestors into the room with you, because that's the deep knowledge. It's where we came from. And so when we have, this is the music that was given to us from them. These are the stories that they handed to us. Not all of them were great people. And you got to consider that too. When you're talking about the past, there's a lot of things that you have to reckon with. And some of it is, some of the things that you end up having to face the reality of are not pleasant things. And I'm speaking very vaguely on purpose, because this could, there could be a whole course taught on this, but and there are. But, these are just things you have to consider when you're bringing this music to the present and to a group of people like this, is to consider all the experiences that have gone into this, and the stories I've been told, the books that I've read, the tunes that I've heard, and to stand with feet flat on the ground and let that all move through you into some form of expression today. And so this one was taught to me by a man in Knott County named George Gibson, who taught many of us the Knott County sort of repertoire of banjo that otherwise was rapidly being forgotten. And it got to a point where he's one of the only folks still back in that area who learn many of the songs, who did a ton of research as well on both the history of the banjo and its migration and people's migrations into Knott County, and how the exchange between African Americans and whites happened in the mountains, and how that came out musically. And so this is one that George Gibson taught me. He lives down on Burgess Creek. He likes to say the confluence of Big Doubles, Little Doubles, and Buffalo Creek on Burgess Creek. So he always introduces himself that way, and when you think about it, he does, and when you're in this music, you do exist at the confluence of many convergences there. And one called Moonshiner. Let me get in the right tuning for Moonshiner. I said I was going to tune, and I did. I know what I did wrong. So the other common sort of characteristic of these banjo styles and traditions, when you're looking back in the archives, or you're learning from guys like George, who are kind of walking, talking archive, is that for as many banjo players and as many tunes as there's as many tunings or more. And so trying to keep them all straight in your head is the challenge. So this is done in a style that George refers to as the stroke style. Mountain banjo players around East Kentucky didn't really use the term claw hammer, which was more of a revivalist term to describe the style played in the mountains. Folks around home called it stroke style, which is this style I'm using. The overhand style or the drop thumb style were the common phrases that folks I learned from use. I've been a moonshiner for many long years. I spent all of my money for whiskey and beer. I'll go up this holler and set up my still. I sell you 1 gallon for a $2 bill. Well, I go to some grocery and drink with my friends, where nobody can ever find me or see what I spend. God bless those moonshiners, they're all friends of mine. Their whiskey tastes sweet as that dew on the vine. Well, it's all times I do wonder why women love men. And it's all times I do wonder why men, they love them. God bless those pretty women, I wish they were mine. Their kisses are sweet as that dew on the vine. Give me cornbread when I'm hungry, corn liquor when I'm dry. I want a pretty gal when I'm lonesome, and a casket when I die. Well, the whole world is a bottle, and life's but a dram. When the bottle gets empty, it ain't worth one damn. Thank you. Betsy?
Hey, can I play with you guys?
Yeah.
That's just beautiful.
One called High Top Shoes.
All right. I think, do we play it through the whole time? Like,
Yeah.
okay. Well,
Well, where did you get them high top shoes and the dress that you wear so fine? I got my shoes from a railroading man, the dress from a driver in the mines. Lord, Lord, dress from a driver in the mines. Well, you need not mind my high top shoes, all the dresses that I wear. Well, I got a man coming on an eastbound freight, gonna bring me a brand new pair. Lord, Lord, bring me a brand new pair. Well, where have you been, my pretty little miss? Where have you been so long? Well, I've been around the bend and I'm going back again, rolling in my sweet baby's arms. Lord, Lord,
rolling in my sweet baby's arms.
Well, where did you get them high top shoes and the dress that you wear so fine? I got my shoes from a railroad
Top Shoes String Band. We had this when we were driving down yesterday. We were going. We knew we couldn't come all the way down on Highway 1, but I had never traveled on Highway 1 at all before this trip, and so we decided to go in and come back out, and we did see a guy. Well, anyway, all kinds of funny things happened. It was old saddlebags. I was about to mention, and it was a good bonding experience. We already have a great name for this project and the different forms that it might comprise, but it's always fun to make a band name. So we had all these little phrases we would see, and we just add the word string band on the end of it. So our latest one is High Top Shoes String Band. That's kind of good. See how it works? Yeah, that works. That works pretty good. Works pretty good. Works pretty good. Hey, let's send this one out.
Most things.
Works with no sing string band. Let's send this one out to our hosts, to David and Ellen, and for not only being generous and wonderful and kind hosts and bringing music and bringing all these people and your friendship and community in your home, but also with the fruits of your labors that you have around with your wonderful farm.
The literal.
And
yeah.
This is a song from the 19th century, it's another one that I learned because the late, great Mike Seeger sang it. It's called Only Remembered. Just get it going, I think.
Yeah, you used to sing
it. Up and away like the dews of the morning, soaring from earth to its home near the sun. Thus would I pass from the earth and its toiling, only remembered for what I have done. Only remembered, only remembered, only remembered for what I have done. Only remembered, only remembered, only remembered for what I have done. Will we be missed when others succeed us, keeping the fields we on earth here have sown? No, for the sowers may pass from their labors, only remembered for what they have done. Only remembered, only remembered, only remembered for what they have done. Only remembered, only remembered, only remembered for what they have done. Only the truth that in life we have spoken, only the seeds we on earth here have sown, these shall pass onward when we are forgotten, fruit of the harvest in what we have done. Only remembered, only remembered, only remembered for what there are always lots of stories to tell, but I'll tell this one about this tune a little bit. So I've had this book on my shelves in my music library for at least 20 years. The Old Time Fiddle Bug got me longer ago than that. It's around 1994 or so, a few years out of university, where I'm one of those ones who started to play it when it started with the V instead of an F. Yep. And I changed the V to an F, and so I play violin now. No, I'm just kidding. Anyway, so somebody told me pretty early on in those early years of fiddling, they said, you got to get the book called The Fiddle Book by Marion Thiede. And so I dutifully said, okay, I will. And I found it somewhere. I don't know where I found it, but I looked at it, and it didn't make sense to me at the time. I wasn't ready for it, but I knew I needed to keep this book. And most of what I learn is by ear. I learned Violet's tunes from her in person. Sometimes I got to go home and woodshed them some more and then come back. Much of it I learned from the old recordings, or I've had a few other teachers along the way too, where I've learned directly. But learning from books can be a problematic thing for so many reasons. But this one, when she does things that are in cross-tuning, what we use fiddlers, before I was in that low tuning, and now I'm in just what we would often call straight cross. It's the two low strings are up by one whole pitch, G to A now, D to E, and then that repeats with the regular A and E. So you hear that sound. And when she transcribed tunes from elder generation fiddlers, and she started this work in the 1920s because she was an educated violinist and a music teacher, actually. And so this was her way of preserving the tunes. But she wrote them as if you read them as if you were in standard tuning, and that can really mess with a person who's had pitch memory recognition on the same instrument for all those years as I had. So I put it away, but then the last year I got it back out. I don't know, I pulled it out. I'm like, well, what do we got for here? And there were so many wonderful discoveries, let me tell you. So because she did such an exemplary work and with such care with the bowings. And that's such a big thing of what I teach in the workshops and the camps, and what I've learned so much from Violet, especially, with really paying attention to the bowings, because that is the tune. It's not just the notes and then you add the bowings. That's part of how the whole tune is made. And she represented them so well. It's as if I realized after spending a little bit of time, I could get through the thing about how it was notated for the ear. But what really helped me was reading through the bowings, that now I've absorbed so many of those and teach them to other people who are wanting to get somewhere with their old-time fiddle, and that it's almost as if I can hear what they're doing. I feel like that anyway. And so it's kind of magical. You can tell it gets me really excited. And then sometimes you find tunes like this one that I've never found anywhere else. And she had a little introduction about this one, very, very, sometimes really specific stories. On this one, she's like, well, the guys told me the back in, and so she was from Oklahoma, northeastern Oklahoma, which is a tiny little corner, and the end corner of the Ozarks there, that region. And she said, the fiddlers from Missouri, they have been playing this for more than 100 years. That's what she said about that. It's very non-specific.
But we've never heard it anywhere else.
We never heard it anywhere else, and it's got a great name too. It's called Goner, and it's a real mover and shaker. All right. would like to share just a couple little pieces that are meaningful to us for various reasons. This one's a Missouri tune with one of the prettiest names, and John Hartford played this, and it's safe to say that his freedom of expression and creativity with music has continues to be really meaningful to me, to both of us. But with this fiddle music, I've learned a lot from both how he and I. It's always been important to me too, with whoever I learned a tune from or a source, and yet being creative and doing it your own way. And Brett was speaking to that earlier too. Some of his mentors when he was growing up in St. Louis, Missouri, was a fiddling set of brothers, Gene, Lonnie, and Cecil Goforth, and they play this tune. They played this tune called "The Quail is a Pretty Bird." And on the property earlier today, I saw some beautiful little quails trotting about a little bit. So thought it'd be nice to share it.
Bring this one out again. It's nice.
It is.
Shall I kick
The
it
quail is a pretty bird, yes.
You know how sometimes you say, "Oh, fiddlesticks."
Yeah. We still don't know why they say that.
They're a real thing.
But doing it as a musical instrument is a real thing.
Yeah.
And in Violet's family, someone is always playing some rhythmic element. Until very recently, she stopped carving the spoons, but she would carve wooden spoons. And I do have a pair. They have the best. I've got actually a bunch of pairs. You can't have them. They're the most beautiful sound and tone. She used different woods to get those. And then the very first time I went to visit her at her home, she made me a present that I will treasure forever. She gave me a jackassophone. It's a jawbone of a jackass, and she has one that they use a lot, but she gave me the other one, and it is an incredible piece. It's so cool. But sometimes they'll do the fiddlesticks too, and so it takes two people. Somebody's got to do the fiddle, the other person's got to do the sticks. Mm-hmm. Always ask permission before beating on your friend's fiddle.
Before you walk up to your friend's fiddle.
So we'll share with you actually not a tune from Violet in this case, because we like West Virginia too, and Ernie Carpenter. Woo! Yeah! So we'll get a little fiddlesticks going on Ernie Carpenter's Cripple Creek.
Yeah.
Partially dangerous. Well, I think we miss our friend Brett.
Brett, come back.
I would kid around a lot of times, and he sat in the back more than he sat in the front. And when Brett would get in the back, I'd be like, "Clarke, there's a guy getting in the back of our car again," and then Brett would say, "Drive." I think we're getting along.
Everything went wrong.
Yeah. Everything went horribly wrong. So we have a few more to do for you this afternoon / evening. And but there's something that hasn't quite been done in the show, and it's not on the list. But I really feel called to do a little something. Yeah.
What would you like to do?
Well, it's not long. It's a short version of a thing, but we haven't done any unaccompanied, except for ending Only Remember Together. So in all of the Southern Mountains, the ballad singing, the unaccompanied singing is an important part of it. It's how we remember the history and the stories, and when it's just the voice and the words that tell the story. I mean, it's pretty magical. And I have a hero. Well, I've got a lot of heroes, don't we all? But yeah, her name was Almeda Riddle, and Violet knew her too. Almeda Riddle was a ballad singer. She sang unaccompanied. And I've learned several songs from her singing. Well, there's one I feel really compelled to share with you all. It's a short ballad as far as ballads go. It's only got about 30 verses.
Right.
Sing all night. Sing a little longer. But it's kind of related to farm life and stuff too. So it might resonate with some of y'all out here. But it won't take long. You can hang out if you want to enjoy it. I mean, the name of this song is "I Love My Little Rooster." Well, I love my little rooster, and my rooster loves me. I'm going to cherish that rooster 'neath the green bay tree. My little rooster goes cock-a-doodle-doo-doodle-doo. Well, I love my little chicken, and my chicken loves me. I'm going to cherish that chicken 'neath the green bay tree. My little hen goes cluck, cluck. My little rooster goes cock-a-doodle-doo-doodle-doo. Well, I love my little duckling, and my duckling loves me. I'm going to cherish that duck 'neath the green bay tree. My little duck goes quack, quack. My little hen goes cluck, cluck. My little rooster goes cock-a-doodle-doo-doodle-doo. Well, I love my little guinea, and my guinea loves me. I'm going to cherish that guinea 'neath the green bay tree. My little guinea goes fodder-rack. My little duck goes quack, quack. My little hen goes cluck, cluck. My little rooster goes cock-a-doodle-doo-doodle-doo. Well, I love my little pig hog, and my pig hog loves me. I'm going to cherish that pig 'neath the green bay tree. My little pig goes My little guinea goes fodder-rack. My little duck goes quack, quack. My little hen goes cluck, cluck. My little rooster goes cock-a-doodle-doo-doodle-doo-doodle-doo. There it is, my little rooster. Ballad singing. It's important stuff, y'all. I think the guinea is the one that went away to college. Fodder-rack.
Fodder-rack. Fodder-rack.
He never heard me do that before. So first time.
Hopefully not the last.
Oh, that was nice.
Yeah.
This guy's really nice. This kid's really nice.
Drive! It all went horribly wrong. Trouble in mind. How about that?
How about that?
Yeah.
Shit, pretend we don't have it. Oh yeah, so it's in G. I usually do it in D. Just talking my way through it, folks. Okay, want me to kick it?
Yeah.
Pretty fast?
Yeah.
Okay.
With trouble, trouble, trouble on my mind. Trouble don't kill me, I'll live a long time.
Ain't that trouble in mind? Ain't that trouble in mind? bubbles. This is what we live for. Oh, frogs. I like frogs too. The little frog goes ribbit, ribbit. I guess you could
Another
go
calling.
croak, croak. I know.
Yeah.
Calling you, calling you. Oh, so anyway, gosh, too much fun. We've only got a couple left. Yeah.
Okay.
No, I do. Brett's like, what else are you changing in there? Yeah, this is from the Carter family.
What
Great
key are we doing?
Carter family. D.
Right?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. This is kind of this song's been on my mind lately, and then Brett suggested it when we were starting stuff out on Sunday, and it just no time like now, and it's like the Carter family and their songs are among one of the things that got people through the Depression era, and they sang about things very forthrightly and well sharing the burden. I suppose they helped our ancestors get through that, our predecessors, I suppose, and maybe we need to keep remembering songs like this now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One called No Depression.
Something like that.
I fear the hearts of men are failing. These are latter days we know. A great depression now is spreading. God's word declared would be so. I'm going where there's no depression, to a lovely land that's free from care. I'll leave this world of toil and trouble. My home's in heaven, I'm going there.
That bright land, there'll be no sorrow, no orphan children crying for bread, no weeping widows toil or struggle, no shrouds, no coffins, and no death. I'm going where there's no depression, to a lovely land that's free from care. I'll leave this world of toil and trouble. My home's in heaven, I'm going there. In this dark hour of midnight nearing, tribulation time will come. The storm will hurl the midnight fear and sweep lost sinners to their doom. I'm going where there's no depression, to a lovely land that's free from care. I'll leave this world of toil and trouble. My home's in heaven, I'm going there. My home's in heaven, I'm going there. Well, I think we have.
Do you know anything about a frog?
I hear them.
Do we know anything about a frog?
Frog. Do we know any frog songs?
Well, I never did learn all the words to that Froggy Went a Courtin'. That's a pretty great song. So. You're done.
And then I grew up on that Peter, Paul, and Mary. I only heard it from
Jeremiah was a bullfrog?
No,
Oh.
I'm in love with the big blue frog.
Yeah.
Blue frog.
I don't know
First one
that.
for me.
Yeah.
I don't know that one.
Yep.
Tippy toed over frogs.
Yeah, we need more frog songs in our lives, evidently. You all are such a great.
What about toad songs?
What? No. Yeah. So here comes the final song of the evening, and it's a good one for you all to all of us to maybe hopefully join our voices together again for another one. And just have to say great thanks to Deep End Sessions. This is the finest.
Oh, wait.
Like
You play banjo, I play guitar.
Oh, y'all quit. Y'all get to quit. And it just have made us so welcome, and we've really been looking forward to this for a long time, and so great and deep gratitude and thanks to David and to Ellen for hosting and everybody making this happen. This crew, it's a bonus of all of this. The folks helping out with the in the back and sales and all of that. So a song that Violet has been singing since she was a little girl in church, and it's one Clarke and I recorded back home with our Kansas City band. Yes, that's right. You have time to be quiet out there. And it's on that album, Rivers Still Rise. But I can teach you the chorus quite easily, and you'll hear the first line of the chorus at the end of every verse, and it's actually the first and last line of every chorus. And so the title of the song is "Fill My Way with Love." And you'll hear.
Before you teach it,
What
I
do
just
you
want
want?
to say
Yeah,
a couple things about Violet that I really love. Things that I love about playing with Violet.
Yeah.
Because Violet carved 73 fiddles.
And one viola.
And one viola. Like, yeah, like this is no small achievement. As well, she was a farrier. She shoed horses. She put roofs on barns. She grew taters. Yeah, she is truly a window into how we used to live not very long ago. And she is just a powerful spirit of a person. And I love spending time with her. But when you're on stage with her and she casually says, "I built this fiddle in 1936."
Yeah.
I go, whoa! It like hits home. Yeah.
That's her boogieing down, dancing. You keep talking while
Oh yeah. So those of you who are into old time music know what a crooked tune is, right? Like it's when
Did that work out even?
there's a few different definitions of crooked, but usually it's when there's a couple extra beats or a dropped beat in a phrase. It's referred to as crooked. Well, Violet played a lot of her tunes crooked, where she would do that in really interesting places. It's really fascinating to learn the way she played certain tunes crooked. I mentioned that because on the instrumental part of this, it's crooked. There's a dropped beat, and you'll notice that if you're astute. But I asked her, I said, "Violet, now why do you do it that way? Why do you drop that beat there? Why do you add that beat there?" And her answer, it was just plain as day, and it just makes so much sense to me. She's like, "Because that's how it lines up with my foot."
She's got good feet too.
Yep.
All right, so it goes, "Fill my way every day with love, 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 as I walk with the heavenly dove. Let me go all the while with a song and a smile. Fill my way every day with love." And we'll cue you along the way, but that's it. Thank you, friends. Let's enjoy this song together. 1, 2, 3. Let me walk, blessed Lord, in the path of the storm. Lead me straight up to heaven above, giving cheer everywhere to the sad and
forgot about that.
Oh my gosh, they're so.
Thank you. Okay.
How about a feel good song? Thank you guys so much. How about a feel good? It's a tune. Some people sing a few little lines to it. It's Nay. It's Nay. It's Nay. It reminds me of the first time that my old band went over to Scotland. Clarke and I get to go this fall. I'm so excited. It's been too many years. The first time we went there, and this band, this was way up in Inverness, I think. It was way up north. And this man came up to our multi-instrumentalist dude, Phil. He came up to Phil and he's like, "Oh, I like what you're doing there. It's deafening." What? I'm sorry, sir. What did you say? Ah, it's very deafening. I'm sorry. I'm just not hearing. It's like, it's different. It's very different. That's the thick kind of Irish. So when I say it's Nay, I think that's Ozark talk. Okay, it's Ozark talk. Maybe we'll jam on this tune later though, because this is a fabulous jam tune. David, I'm sure you know Waterbound, right? It's a great dance tune and if anybody likes to sing it, well, let's get this going on after the wonderful meal that we'll share together. Waterbound is, you can't get home. All right, we don't have to go home if you brought your tent. Or you have a car you can sleep in or something like that. Yeah, all right. Okay, yep.
Yeah, I think.
Guy got all quiet and...